Mold toxicity. Here's my story. Is mold toxicity destroying you, your family, and your pets, your whole life? It absolutely can be. It's an invisible enemy that about killed me. Took me to my knees and showed me the hardest moments of my life. I had over 30 symptoms all at once: depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, histamine problems, new food sensitivities and food allergies, my eyes twitching, my hair falling out, bloody stools, GI problems. I was dealing with like IBD symptoms, celiac, Crohn's. I mean, all of it. I was dealing with tons of inflammation, something called SIRS, inflammatory response syndrome, and dealing with mast cell activation syndrome as well. I mean, I dealt with all of it. It made me severely anemic. It just destroyed me. Depersonalization. So I was like, I felt like I was losing my mind. Nobody believed me. Well, other people in my family didn't have the same symptoms I was. I lost my friend. I've lost friends. I lost my job. I lost my relationships. I mean, it destroyed me, and it's probably something affecting you and your family. A lot of times, through my research and diving around, I've noticed that it's going on a lot. I've had people reach out to me and tell me like, "Oh my God, like this is what's going on with my family, and my husband doesn't believe me, or my wife doesn't believe me." It's usually the wife, because the wife tends to stay at home, and the male tends to go out and work, which allows for a time given where that person only comes in and maybe sleeps at the home, and then they have another 16 hours or whatever to basically not inhale the fumes, or not fumes, but the mycotoxins in this case, and or the endotoxins released by not just the mold, but also bacteria like actinomides that grow together. And those two can cause huge problems together. You have like a cytokine storm that goes on in your body, tons of inflammation, tons of neurological inflammation, dysfunction, GI problems, dysfunction with your gut-brain axis, your vagus nerve. I mean, a lot of stuff goes on. I mean, it destroys you at the cellular level. It causes DNA mutations. It causes cancer and certain. It is one of the worst things that you can experience. And I was experiencing all of it. Felt like I was like in a deep cave, in a dark cave, wet, moldy cave, with a torch in my hand, and it was unable to light it up. But every single micro decision that you make can either be a spark to turn it back on, or it could be like getting it wet and getting worse. I started to take control with my diet. Started to notice things that I couldn't eat, especially wheat, dairy, corn, soy. Started there. That helped me out thinking, although I was still being exposed to these toxins, so I still felt bad, but I felt a little bit better. I was able to make a better decision the next day, and it was hell on earth. Hell on earth. Tons of supplementation. I use all kinds of supplements, from DAO enzymes to help with breaking down histamine, to NAC, to liposomal glutathione, to methylated B complexes. I mean, I used everything in my power to take control back of my body, and nothing worked. The only way I started to heal was I had to leave exposure. I knew that I was genetically susceptible at that point. I knew that while other people's were in my family were only experiencing symptoms like maybe rage is one of them. I was experiencing rage as well. Like randomly, I would wake up and I'm mad for no reason. But rage, things like rheumatoid arthritis, high blood pressure, GI problems. Although, they were living in it for years, and so it's for them it's a build up. For me, it was a matter of days to weeks, where, I hit rock bottom, and I felt it, and I will keep saying it. I saw it in my AC. The two bathrooms in the house. The house was built in 1957. They don't have extractors in the bathroom, so I knew that there's a humidity problem, and that the AC was also loaded with mold. When I looked at it, around the walls around the AC were black. Although they didn't believe it, they're like, "Oh, I don't know." Like, it's weird. That's what happens with mold toxicity. They don't believe it, and their brain is not functioning correctly at the cognitive or executive level. So, your train of thoughts are not there. Even if you give him everything. It's kind of like a cognitive dissonance thing. But my intuition never led me wrong. It's actually what saved my life. I was always right. And so I'm sharing because this can help somebody out there. And you're not alone. So the VA doctor, I'm a veteran, and the VA doctor gaslighted me, but I already knew what was going. I did all my peer-reviewed evidence, followed functional doctors like Dr. Richie Shoemaker, who explains what SIRS is, and from there I learned about other doctors that knew how to treat it, and instantly knew, but I couldn't confirm it. I couldn't even go to any doctors because they're so expensive. As I left the VA, I came out crying, and I said, "This madness ends today." And I was crying, and I called my local. I just Googled mold toxicity doctors in Miami. I called them, and within 15 minutes, just talking to the front desk clerk, although they didn't diagnose me, everything that they told me was reassuring, and I knew right off the back what I was dealing with and what I had to do. And so I made the decision to leave Miami and move to a different location, away from my family. Personal choice, but also to a place where it was brand new, where I knew that was my best chance of not dealing with old installation, old water damage problems, and renters that typically don't take care of the place, or if they do remediation, they don't do it correctly. It's just paint over it, or just take a little a piece off the wall, but don't address the humidity problems. All these things. Insulation needs to be changed sometimes because they get contaminated. I think every 10 years you're supposed to, supposedly, for optimization, you have to change them out. So all these things, I was thinking about every micro and macro decision or possibility. So thankfully I found a place that was brand new. I was able to heal instantly as I came inside this apartment. I was able to breathe in deep, and I knew I instantly, my innate immune system, my mitochondria basically told me, you're good to go. And that's where I started my healing journey. That's where I truly started to biohack myself. I'm a functional medicine enthusiast, as well as molecular medicine, orthomolecular medicine. I'm a root cause, whole body holistic approach. I'm also an alternative medicine student. It kickstarted my a new passion, my new mission. It gave me a sense of what I had to do. Was with share my story, heal myself, because you have to heal yourself first, so that then you can heal others. If the plane is going down, you gotta put your mask on first, and then you can help everybody else. And if you have to take control of the plane, maybe that's what you have to do. Take control of the plane. But there is hope to heal. It is hard, especially if you have an HLA-DR gene mutation. And if you have, HLA-DQ2 or DQ8, which has to do with celiac disease and non-celiac gluten sensitive, it gets hard. I'm very limited on my diet, but I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm in full control of my emotions, of my body. Although part of my experimentation, I am my own experiment. I do experiment with foods to see what I can eat and what I can't eat. I can instantly tell when my mood changes, the energy, inflammation, disassociation, catatonia, anxiety, depression, just from food sensitivities and food allergies and intolerances, whether that's IgE, non-anaphylactic mild reactions, IgG, which are delayed reactions anywhere between hours to 72 hours, or IgA, which is almost immediate to no more than, I think, days. All can trigger a change in the way you feel, in the way your energy, motivation, anxiety, depression, a lot of neurological things, because 90% of your serotonin is created in your gut, 70% of your immune system is in your gut lining. You have more neurons in your gut, in your GI tract, than you do in your brain. 80% of the messages from your gut brain axis that go up your vagus nerve are messages from your organs where they tap into, which is basically all of your GI, your liver, your kidneys, up to your brain. And if that's dysregulated, then you can imagine there is nothing. It's like having a radio signal, and it's very staticky, or if it's a computer, packets are falling off, or if it's a cable, you have interference. Sometimes a nice signal comes in clear, and then it just drops off, or you have all these, and that's the inconsistency. The inflammation, the cytokines, the free radicals, the dysregulation at the cellular and molecular level that goes on from things that we absolutely don't know. Food also is bioengineered to enhance flavors and to make you addicted. There's something called gliomorphins and casomorphins, which are exomorphins. And basically they bind to your opioid receptors and make you addicted to these foods. So that's why, a lot of people can eat and feel easily become addicted to food when you're emotionally, as an emotional crutch, which I did. I fought food addiction, and that was my second hardest battle ever to conquer. And if you have candida overgrowth, you have parasites, you have dysbiosis, they love sugar. They love iron. They love stealing your nutrients and your energy. And all these things will manipulate you to want the food, on top of the exomorphins that I just spoke about and mentioned. So all these things are against you. It's a spiritual warfare from the inside out. And there's a saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. And you truly, if you want to change who you are, you not only have to change your habits and what you eat, you have to change who you are completely with the foods that you eat, starting out with the foods you eat. When you can take control of your gut and the foods you eat, you take control of your addictions and the way that you think. You become lethal, become dangerous, become happy. You can feel more love, you can give more love, you become closer to God, which I've always been spiritual, but I've never really dwelled into religion. I like an omnian. I picked from every religion all the good things and ignored the bad. But kind of like an atheist, I didn't really believe, but now it's weird. I'm starting to believe because I'm closer than I've ever been to God, and I think God is in not only us and our best version of ourselves, so is the devil and the bad decisions, depending on how irregulated and sick you are and dysfunctional at the cellular level. You become the worst version of yourself, and not you, not the real you. But I think God is in everything. I think it's the trees and in the sun, and the animals, the insects, and everything. And the more you become optimized, the more you realize the connection that you have to everything and everyone. I also started to notice that I have a higher calling, that that it's not about you, it's about mankind and advancing in the survival of our species. I like to think about unconditional love, and what can I do to not only heal myself and raise my vibration, but raise the vibration of the world and everyone in it. And it starts with you. The more you raise your own vibration, you resonate with that energy. People see that. You lead by example. And then, people are wondering, what's this person doing? He's not even the same person I used to know. And that's when you really start to tap in, and everything that you do, from the smile that you give somebody to staying cool while somebody is gaslighting you, all these things have ripple effects. And everything that you can do in your life, everywhere you can go and improve, whether that's picking up trash, whether that's picking somebody up, whether that's saving someone's life or sharing information, can absolutely have a ripple effect that you might not know. You know, it's not about the person; it's about the message, right? And we all have a message. We all have a spiritual reason why we're here. But because we're so dysregulated, inflamed, stressed, we're comfortably numb and disconnected and disassociated from reality, from the highest version of our abilities to enable to tap into that. So the more that you take care of yourself, starting with food, let thy be food be medicine, and medicine be thy food, you will start to notice these changes. And little by little, things start to make more sense. And you don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to I don't care about foods. Yeah, thankfully I tried everything out. Wheat, dairy, corn, soy, eggs. I tried it, so I don't miss anything. I know what it is. It sucks if you come from another country and you've never tried any of the food here. It's a double-edged sword because you want to try it all, but once you do, that's when a lot of problems start happening, and you become addicted, and you become obese, or overweight and obese very quickly, and type 2 diabetic. I had it all. It's type 2 diabetic, severe anemic. Everything starts with food, and a lot of times you need supplementation because the nutrients, there's nutrient dilution and nutrient there's nutrient depletion and nutrient dilution. Nutrient dilution meaning that they pick the biggest fruits, vegetables to maximize profit. And people think that because it's bigger, you're getting the same amount of nutrients. Nope. And on top of that, the soil that it's grown in doesn't have the nutrients, the micronutrients, and the minerals that used to 100 years ago. We're using fertilizers that, like nitrogen, that not only destroy the microorganisms in the soil, they also block the absorption of other minerals and nutrients. They're not good. Anything that veers away from what organic, what God made us to, the route that we're supposed to be taking, that's when problems happen. So if you're experiencing mold toxicity, reach out to me, reach out to other people, look on social media. You'll see very quickly that you're not the only one. And you need to leave exposure. That's the only way that you're going to heal. That's for anyone, honestly. It sucks. I know it's hard. Sometimes you have to break a lease. Sometimes you need a swap. I've spoken to people who needed to, on their own, pay out of pocket to do a swap. And then use that, take it to their doctor, and then they had legal litigation and the ability to break their lease. It's tough. It really is. But know that there is a solution. All you have to do is never give up. Keep looking for answers. Keep pushing. Take it one day at a time. Because there's a saying that God doesn't show you your way. Because if you saw what it took to get there, you wouldn't want to take that route. And I believe it now. I believe it. So even if you have to climb a mountain, don't look all the way up. Just look for your next step and keep going. Godspeed. This is Dynamic Biohacking.